something before I get started. I need a photo for Facebook so we can show them. How many are here for the first time? Oh, great. Well, I want to take some time and kind of give you an overview of the company and talk about why we're so optimistic and why Karen has so much energy, and Lolita Gary, who is at the end of the line, who has more energy than any distributor I know in the world. Where is she? Casey? Oh, sorry. Okay. Well, I can't remember everybody's name. I'm over 50. It's coming. All right. Well, let's talk a little bit about the company. Some of you have seen this, but hopefully what I can do over the next 30, 45 minutes is share with you a perspective on the company that will give you confidence and optimism for the future. Now, this was Nu Skin when we first started in 1984. Now, I can tell you a lot of you have gone to Provo and seen the home office, and I promise you would have never been invited to Provo for a tour in 1984. It was not a very impressionable event. It wasn't something that would have been a defining moment in your career with Nu Skin. It may have been the opposite direction. What am I doing here? Now you come to Nu Skin and you feel this sense of enormity. You feel this sense of success. You feel this sense of belonging to a global family. And that's the beauty of what coming to Nu Skin today is. So I think about the early days, and I've been with the company 23 years in October. And I remember those early days. And a lot of us who are over 50 remember what life was like without a computer. I mean, the internet didn't exist when the company started. There weren't computers. There was one computer when I came in. But even when the company started, there were 0 computers in the company. And we can't imagine what life was like back then. But the company made certain commitments that I believe are commitments that allowed us to become who we are today. If we weren't willing to make these kind of commitments in an era when these were things that people needed to be assured of, I promise you we wouldn't be here today. You wouldn't be in this room. I wouldn't be here. I'd still be doing something for the government in Latin America someplace. But here's the thing. Back in 1984, when the company started, Blake Roney, Steve Lund, and Sandy Tillotson made a personal commitment that our products would always be products with integrity. That we weren't ever going to fudge on ingredients, we weren't ever going to fudge on quality control, that no matter what, our business had to be based on the highest quality products. Now that was difficult because there weren't scientists in the company. We had to partner with people to help us understand exactly how to make sure that the products that our distributors were purchasing were safe and effective. We had to make a commitment to people coming into Nu Skin. Now remember, this is an era when the internet didn't exist and computers didn't exist. Everything was fax machines. Voicemail, amazingly, voicemail didn't even exist when Nu Skin started. I mean, we can't even fathom what life was, we can't even recall what life was like in those heavenly days of pre-voicemail. And pre-email. But we don't understand what this meant. That people joining Nu Skin knew that if they were going to build a business, that Nu Skin was absolutely committed to making sure that they knew what they were being paid on. That commitment was made in 1984. The other commitment we made was that we wanted to make sure that when Nu Skin distributors came to the company, that they knew they were building a business that would be them for the rest of their lives, and that Nu Skin was always going to pay their commissions on time, and always going to have those checks clear the bank. Now, we take all of this for granted. Honestly, we look at these 3 characteristics and we just say, that's what started. $5,000, a funky office building, but a commitment that we were going to have products that made a difference, that were quality. We were going to have checks that arrived on time, and we were going to have accurate records. Now here's the thing, what's the promise of the future? Because talking about the past is important, because I believe it lays the foundation for who we are as a company. But let's talk about where we're going. What does it mean to the brand new person in the room? So here's Nu Skin's commitment to you, that we will be the largest direct sales company in the world. Woo! A lot of companies will say bullish things like that, okay? And they can if they're not publicly traded. But we're publicly traded, and so things are different. And so when we go out and we say this, we have millions of people around the world who come to us with the expectation that this is going to happen. And so all the wheels inside the company are turning to make sure that we achieve this objective over the next 10 years, between 2010 and 2020. Now, we also made a commitment to be the world's leading anti-aging company. Now, once again, publicly traded. A non-publicly traded company can paint that pie in the sky picture and think nothing of it. And they do. I watch all of our peers. I see what they say. They're foolish. Honestly. Because one of these days, the secret's going to come out. I watch these companies as they try to go public, and they have to try and realign all the pictures they painted for their distributors as they try to go public, because it was never as rosy as they painted the picture for their distributors. But we will be the world's leading anti-aging company. We have more scientists focused on anti-aging than any other company in our industry. In fact, we have more scientists focused on anti-aging than I believe any consumer products company has. Because in order to be the world's leading anti-aging company, you have to live up to that commitment by investing resources, by putting people on task. You're going to hear from one of our scientists today, Dr. Scott Ferguson. I'm going to call him a doctor. He's almost working on it. But one of our leading scientists focused on the genetic components of aging. And that's why I'm excited that he's here, because he gets to talk to you about what we now know about aging. We know more now about aging than we have ever known in our 25 years. And the final thing we commit to, and you got a sense from this listening to Karen, is that we want to commit to you that we're going to be a good corporate citizen. I was just in New York on Monday, Tuesday, and you know, it's been an interesting week on Wall Street. Yesterday was an interesting day, and I look at the companies that are affected by what's going on, and oftentimes they're self-developed problems. Because they aren't good corporate citizens. They don't recognize that they have a responsibility to humanity. They don't recognize that their word matters. And so consequently, there is a distinction between a company that makes a personal commitment to be a force for good and companies that don't. And we put a stake in the ground that Nu Skin will be a force for good in the world. Now, this is another principle that I believe is absolutely critical, and it's one of the reasons why you should feel extremely confident about Nu Skin. Because we're completely transparent. There's no smoke and mirrors. Everything you want to know about the company is publicly available. Publicly. We're a publicly traded company. We're governed by all sorts of regulatory bodies, and I'm sure over the next few years there will be more